Hey friends, Cinema Recapped here. Today I will explain to you a 2020 American action thriller movie called Honest Thief. The movie starts with a man who is drilling in violation into a safe, and the following day it is disclosed by the news that $658,000 has been stolen, and the police have found no evidence at all about the doubt of the robbery. The man on the news calls him in and out bandit as he has done 8 robberies in the past 6 years, unidentified. Tom Carter, the title of the thief, later goes to a self-storage warehouse where he meets Annie, the grad student. He wants to rent a storage unit to store all the cash he stole. During their tight conversation, he finds himself having a crush on her, and she seems to find him charming too. 1 year later, Tom and Annie are in an affair. He brings her, to be exact, breaks in with her to an flat for sale and asks her whether she wants to live jointly with him. At first, even though she likes the place, Annie hesitates and rejects the request as she just divorced. Tom then organizes to convince her, and ultimately she agrees to moving in concurrently with him. On the other side, FBI agent Myers goes to the office with his lovely dog, Tazzy. Upon coming, he tells his superior, Agent Baker, that he is going to divorce and his wife is letting him keep the dog. He adds that his wife chose to take their house rather of their dog. Back to the Charleston Hotel, Tom calls the FBI, revealing that he is the in-and-out bandit. He surprisingly wants to turn himself in. Nonetheless, Myers and Baker don't take him seriously since they have received a lot of calls claiming themselves as the in-and-out bandit recently. He pledges them to hand over all the stolen money, but they have to ensure that he obtains a reduced sentence no more than 2 years with full visitation rights in return. While asked why he wants to turn himself in, he admits that he likes to be with Annie for the rest of his life without feeling guilty about his past. Thinking that he's bullshitting, Baker orders Agent Nivens and Agent Hall to interview Tom. It's been 2 days and the agents have not come. So Tom calls the FBI back and complains to Myers. He feels outraged when being called the in-and-out bandit because it sounds unprofessional. After the call, Agent Nivens and Agent Hall unexpectedly show up at the hotel. To convince the agents, Tom reveals some specific details of the robberies to them. He tells them that he only emphasizes on small-town banks with older vaults as it is easier to blow. A vacant building following to it is also a must because he will use it as his entrance through the adjoining wall. Later, he blows the vault and takes all the money. He covers his tracks by patching the wall with plaster and then painting it. Since the agents are unwilling to make an agreement without evidence, Tom gives them the location where he keeps the stolen cash, which is in the self-storage at the beginning of the movie. They look into the storage and both of them are surprised when Hall discovers a box full of cash, meaning that Tom was saying the truth. Nivens becomes greedy and intends to keep all the money by himself. At first, Hall disagrees as he is a good agent and he thinks it is not the right move. However, after Nivens convinces him that this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and Hall also realizes that he needs extra money to support his family, he finally reluctantly goes along with it. While moving the boxes to their car, Annie confronts them as she didn't recognize them on the security. They lie to her, saying her that they are Tom's old friends while serving in the Marines. They store the money in Nivens' safe house and then return to the Tom's hotel. Nivens unexpectedly pulls out his gun and attempts to shoot Tom. Tom reveals that the money they took away was just 1/3 of the total stolen money. He intends to tell them the location of the remaining money, but the conversation is interrupted when Baker unexpectedly shows up at the hotel. For no reason, Nivens instantly shoots his superior to death. Tom fights the greedy agent and both of them fall out of a window. Annie is shocked when she sees them and Tom tells her to run as they get away from the agents. They then endeavor to chase after Tom and Annie, but the couple manages to run towards the parking building. Nivens and Hall go in there, but cannot find anyone. Tom then steals another car there and ultimately escapes from the corrupt agents. He drives Annie to safety. On their way, he is forced to tell the truth to his lover. They pull over and Annie is highly disappointed with Tom after hearing the truth. He tells her about how his father was fired from a pipe manufacturer company and then committed suicide. He reveals that he began robbing since the CEO of the company embezzled millions from the employee pension fund. He robbed the bank where the CEO kept the money. He admits to Annie that robbing gave him life, but he decided to stop when he met her. Gradually but sure, Annie starts to forgive him. Tom then suggests Annie to leave the city because he knows that the FBI will chase later her, while Tom stays and will try his best to prove that he's innocent. At the same moment, Myers arrives at the hotel and is shocked when he discovers his superior's dead body. After that, he questions Nivens and Hall to figure out what transpired to his partner. As expected, they lie, telling him that Tom killed Baker. The next day, the agents discover that the thief was actually a former Marine, where he served as demolition expert. They then decide to go after Annie to seek few information. A few moments later, Annie calls Tom and she informs him about getting footage from the storage warehouse that would be proof of the agents stealing the money. Turns out that Annie is still in the city and he instantly orders her to get on a bus. Unfortunately, Nivens appears at the storage warehouse's office and attacks her. She tries to fight back, but Nivens is just as strong and he ultimately knocks her out. He then attempts to shoot her, but Hall intervenes and prevents him from doing so, while secretly taking the security footage from Annie. Tom arrives late and immediately takes his lover to the hospital. He is enraged and calls the agents. Nivens plays dumb and denies that he has attacked Annie as Myers is listening to the conversation. Tom has had sufficient with them. Before hanging up, he vows to go after him, which makes both agents panic. A police officer comes over a van, recognizes Tom, and decides to chase after him. The agents are informed about the situation and instantly join the pursuit. After he manages to dodge the cop, the agents confront him and Tom gradually crashes his car into theirs. The car gets stuck and they engage in a gunfight. After several attempts, Tom eventually manages to get away from the agents. Thereupon, Myers spots Tom and chases after him. He briefly fights him until Tom points his gun, which he stole from Hall, at Myers. Tom tells the truth to the agent, telling him Nivens killed Baker and attacked Annie, and Myers appears to believe him. Tom returns the gun and goes away from there. That night, Nivens goes to the hospital and endeavors to kill Annie, but he cancels his intention when he sees Myers is sitting inside Annie's room. The following day, Myers questions the agent regarding what Tom said earlier on the phone, but Nivens lies again and the agent returns the gun to Hall. Later in the darkness, Tom breaks into Hall's house and gives Hall a surprise attack. He regrets everything he has done and decides to hand over the security footage to Tom. He also warns Tom about Nivens' plan to kill Annie. Tom instantly rushes to the hospital and takes her away from there, bringing her to a safe house. The following day, using his knowledge from Marine, Tom assembles a bomb while talking to Annie. After that, Annie insists on joining Tom as he goes after Nivens. They then go to Nivens' house where Tom privately planted a bomb inside there. He calls the greedy agent and warns him about the bomb. Nivens luckily still organizes to get out before the bomb explodes and runs away with his car. On the other side, Myers meets Annie at the storage warehouse where she shows the agent the rest of Tom's money to gain. His faith. Nivens goes to the safe house where Tom, who holds Hall hostage, suddenly appears. Nivens is furious when he discovers that Hall betrays him. Tom tries to break up the fight, but the cocky agent pulls out his gun and starts shooting Tom through his partner. He organizes to escape with the money and drives away in his car. Luckily, Tom has prepared a backup plan. He calls Nivens, saying him that he has planted a bomb under the driver's seat, which is pressure sensitive and will detonate if he moves even the slightest movement. Nivens has no choice but to pull over and wait for the bomb squad to arrive. Thereupon, the bomb squad arrives and examines the bomb. He then reveals that the bomb is a dud. With Nivens carrying the stolen money, Myers orders his men to arrest the corrupt agent. Similarly, it is revealed that Tom secretly put a phone inside Hull's pants which recorded their entire confession. Earlier, he then sends it to Myers, who ultimately totally believes in him after hearing the recording. Later that night, outside the FBI headquarters, Annie approaches the agent while Tom suddenly calls to turn himself in. Tom thereafter shows up and Myers promises to do his best to support Tom get a lighter sentence. And the end. If you are a lover of similar content like this, take a look at my various videos, and if you love it, please burst the like button and make sure you subscribe to the channel and smash the notification horn. Take sight of you in the next video.